Everyone is no one is sort of the theme and the title of today's session. Finding out who your target audience is. So I like to say everyone is no one because every time I ask people, who are you talking to? Who are you trying to reach with with your message? People always say everyone. And I really want to encourage you to think about every time you think everyone, follow that up with everyone is no one. Because when we're talking and speaking really generally and just trying to like put something out there really broad, it doesn't have that resonance and that connection that messages have that really like speak to a person and say, oh, you're talking to me. And you want people when they hear your message to think, oh my gosh, they're talking to me. And you want them to see themselves in your mission and being a part of what you're doing. So by really refining your messaging, you can do that, and you can begin little by little to personalize the way you're reaching people and hopefully resonate with them and help them see themselves in your organization and as a CASA volunteer or donor or whatever it may be that you're trying to reach. So the first thing we need to do is to set our goals. So we know there are so many platforms and ways to reach people available today, but we all have limited time and resources, right? Like somebody could be on all of these, but really if you were trying to do all of those, you probably wouldn't be doing anything really well for that particular platform and the strategy that that platform would need. So I really strongly believe in picking one or two and doing them really well and really trying to make sure your messages and the formatting of what you're doing fits that platform, and you're talking to people that are on that platform and not so for instance, LinkedIn is a very professional place. So most people there are working people. So if all of your messaging is geared for people who are retired or maybe like high schoolers or younger people, right? It's a mismatch, right? So that's just an example of how you want to make sure that the strategies you're using and the messaging you're using matches the platform that you're on, right? So that's another reason why I really believe in doing one or two really well, and instead of trying to do them all. And we don't want anyone to be overwhelmed, right? Because you're probably got one person on your team, and we're a nonprofit. We all wear many hats, right? So there's probably only one person who's doing the messaging, and they're probably also doing a lot of other jobs too, right? So we know this, it's easy to get overwhelmed and because of that, things might become inconsistent. So we want to make sure that we are staying consistent and not overwhelmed. And so picking one or two is a really great practice that I recommend. But then knowing what your goals are can help you determine which platform is the right one for you to focus on and for your strategy that you want to implement. Okay, so oftentimes when we talk about setting a goal, I hear this one a lot. Get more volunteers, recruit more volunteers, have more volunteers. So for today's session, I want you to work on a goal that is a little more specific than this. The problem with this one is you don't really know who you're recruiting. There's no targeting involved in that. There's really no timeline. It's kind of vague. There's not a whole lot of direction. And then there's a lot of people that might be involved in that and not just you and your role. So we really want to try and hone it in on what a goal is for you that you can do, some actions that you can take and you can measure for yourself, and that aren't necessarily involving half of your organization, right? Because there's so many other parts in the process of becoming a volunteer. Training is involved, right? Interviews, right? There's a lot of people besides just you that make that happen. But for your goal today, I want you to work on a goal that is specific to you and what you can do in your role that you're playing. So the who of who you're trying to reach, the what of what messages you want to send, the where, so where are you finding the people you're talking to, right? And then the when, so what's your time frame? Like when do you want to accomplish this by? And then the how, like what strategy you're going to employ, how you're going to reach them. So here's an example of a goal, right? So I want to reach 30 recent empty nesters with mission and volunteer need through targeted LinkedIn outreach, articles, and live events by June 2025. So to break that down a little more, the who is the 30 recent empty nesters. The what is the CASA mission and volunteer need. The where is LinkedIn, that's where I want to reach them. The when is between now and June 2025. And the how is through targeted outreach, articles, and live events. Does that all make sense for everybody? Yes, okay. So I would like you to practice setting a goal. Identify one goal to work with for today for this workshop, and then pick something that will work well with if you're working on email outreach, your social media platform, or whatever it is that you want to really focus on. Pick something that will work well with that. So for social media platforms, you wouldn't want to pick somebody that isn't on social media, right? You want to pick somebody that you know would be on social media for that goal. So I'm going to go back to this to show you an example, and we'll take just about a minute if you wouldn't mind writing down your goal, and then we'll share out. We'll take some time to share out. Well, we'll keep moving on, but thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Alex, for sharing. I love the difference of the way y'all are thinking about that and the different targeting approaches you're going to take. Okay. So here's an example. When I say everyone is no one, we know that Coca-Cola is one of the largest marketers globally in the world, right? And so they have the budget where they probably could actually reach everybody, right? But even they have targeted products, that they have certain messaging that they've built around those products. So Diet Coke, we know traditionally their target audience has been women, health conscious moms. They even did a commercial last year about how they're not just for moms, like calling out their own branding and targeting of the Diet Coke product. Whenever we see Sprite commercials, they're always featuring athletic, young, adventurous. I wish can't even spell, but adventurous. It's always very, like, you see people skateboarding and playing basketball. It's very active. And then the Coca-Cola, the traditional Coca-Cola beverage, it's always very community, right? Like share a Coke is one of their slogans. And so it's always social situations, family gathering, community. It's in these moments of like camaraderie and connectivity where you see that Coke in their way they brand it. So even Coca-Cola has targeted personas and targeted messaging that they're working with, and they truly do have the budget to reach everyone. So if they're doing that, it's even more important for us to see how we need to make sure that we are really honing in on who we're trying to reach and how we're sharing the message and what we're showing about the opportunity of being a CASA volunteer. Okay, so we're going to do another activity. So here I have 3 target personas of mine, Nina, Walter, and Carla. And so I'm going to share with you a little bit about what platform they're on and why they're on that platform. And I'd like us to brainstorm together what are some messages around CASA that might be a good fit for each of these people. So Nina, she's really active on LinkedIn. And she loves LinkedIn because she's growing her professional network and she wants to connect with professional development opportunities. So go ahead and start jotting down on your paper what are some CASA messages you think might connect and resonate with Nina. Walter, he is on Facebook and he's there to keep in touch with his friends and family. He wants to stay abreast of community events. So thinking through someone like Walter, what CASA message do you think would really connect with Walter? And then our third target persona here is Carla. Carla, she's on Instagram to escape from the stress of her work at the hospital. She wants to laugh and connect with others. So what CASA message do you think will resonate with Carla? Good, you're good. Alex, did you want to share? I saw you came off mute.
For Nina, I put she might be interested in like joining the board for CASA and being a part of, maybe like the advisory board, or I don't think she would fit like as a volunteer, but I think she'd be interested in one of the more like career driven kind of professional aspects of CASA.
Yep, she probably would be very interested in joining the board. That's great, Alex. Thank you. Allie, did you have one?
I was also going to do Nina, which mine is a little bit different than what Alex just said, but I just said as far as like a message that would resonate with her would be to join our community of advocates. And she was looking for a way to connect with others.
Awesome. Thank you both. All right. Any other thoughts for Jason? Did you have anything?
Well, thank you. So going back to the targeted recruitment, we're currently working on our 30 for 30 campaign, and this is our 30th year, our 30th anniversary. So we are trying to target small business owners to let them know about the importance of CASA. We're doing it through direct mail from the Chamber of Commerce and e-blasts. trying to get the message out there from now until September, hoping to get some additional funding generated. I'm just curious to hear more on, because it does involve a wide range of age groups. So I was really interested to hear on what other people had to say in messaging, particularly toward Nina and Carla, because that tends to be some of the younger demographic that we're seeing, particularly in some of our up and coming downtown areas. So I don't have an idea. I just wanted to kind of listen to what you guys had to say about that.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason.
Sure.
Hopefully we'll get some good ideas flowing today. So here's some, and I love what y'all said. Here's some that I came up with. So for Nina, I thought, build your leadership skills while making a difference. CASA volunteers advocate for children in foster care, gaining courtroom experience, communication skills, and a deeper understanding of child welfare. Looking for a meaningful way to grow personally and professionally, connect with us to learn how CASA can be a step in your leadership journey. So this really highlights some of that courtroom experience and some of those skills that CASA volunteers develop and grow as they're on their case and as they're in training. So highlighting some of those things I thought would be a good fit for someone like Nina. And this message, again, like with this targeting, you're not like excluding people from these messages, right? Like this message could resonate with a lot of people, but when you're crafting it, you're focusing on these areas that you think someone that you have in your community, someone that you already might be able to reach, right? That's in like within like a reachable sphere from where you're at. So maybe a friend of a friend of a volunteer, right? Someone that's only a degree or two away from where you're at. And you know that this is a message that would resonate with them, right? So it's not excluding others, but it is saying like we're going to sharpen what we're saying in a way that can really click with someone. So for Walter, I had for him looking for a meaningful way to connect with others in your community. Join us for upcoming CASA volunteer training and become a part of a network of advocates making a difference for children in foster care. This is more than just a training. It's a chance to meet caring, like-minded people who want to give back, right? So this, because he is on Facebook to be involved with the community, to see what's going on in other people's lives that he cares about, this could be a way to really leverage that community that CASAs have with each other and with the staff, right? And so, and the event, the in-person element of training, if you have an in-person training, would be something to highlight here. And if it is a virtual training, just mentioning like the space, I'm happy, that even though we're virtual, we're still developing these relationships, right? Or if you have like a meetup that you do, anything like that, that's in person, that would be a great way to reach Walter. And then actually creating those Facebook events, right? Or if you're not on Facebook, you could use Eventbrite or other event platforms that people in your community might search based on location. And then for Carla, I thought you could do a reel that shows like your team and like meet your team and the different people on your staff in a lighthearted way. You could also do something that highlights friendships between CASA volunteers, something like that. That could be a fun sort of lighthearted approach to meeting your team and your network. And then the caption could be something like real people, real impact. Being a CASA volunteer means joining a community that cares about kids, about each other, and about making a difference, ready to be a part of something bigger. Those are just some ideas off the top of my head that I think fits with these personalities, and just to show how having a clear vision of who you're trying to reach and why they're on that platform can help inspire the way you message.